Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the step taken by the government of India where it has decided to close the sluice gates of the Baglihar Dam. The Baglihar Dam, which is located on the Chenab river that passes through India's Jammu and Kashmir and then further through Pakistan. So India has basically what you can say enforced its decision where it has put Indus Water Treaty under suspension or abeyance, and it is because of this closing of the Baglihar Dam, we can say that the Chenab river that runs along the border of India and Pakistan has become kind of dry near Pakistan. So this entire decision, we can understand, has been taken to punish Pakistan. This decision has been taken as a punitive measures against the Pakistan decision to allow, facilitate and encourage infiltration as well as cross-border terrorism, which they have been doing since the partition of India with impunity. Now, the government of India's decision seems to be giving the hint to Pakistan that enough is enough. We will not just sit and watch the kind of actions Pakistan has taken, and this largely comes in the context of what you can understand the deadly attack that was carried out by the 5 militants that crossed the border through Pakistani side and killed 26 innocent civilians in the Pahalgam region of Jammu and Kashmir. So the water level in the Chenab river in the Jammu and Kashmir and further in the Pakistan area has fell below the west level. And why this is important? Because it is for the first time the local people, villagers have said that they have seen such a low level of water in the Chenab in last maybe 20-30 years. Now, because of the curiosity, many of the villagers, as you can see from the image here, they began to walk near the banks of the Chenab. Many villagers even began to enter into the river bed and try to find this what you can call as gold and silver ornaments as well as coin, as generally you will see people losing on the riverbed. However, Jammu and Kashmir police has warned people against crossing the Chenab on foot, because obviously now the dam gate has been closed, but again there can be sudden increase in the water volume when the dam gate is opened. So overall, what we can understand, what has happened is the closure of all sluice gates. Sluice gate is basically kind of sliding gate that is used to regulate the water flow through a dam. So both Salal Dam and the Baglihar Dam, both gates of both of these dams have been closed, and the dams are situated in the Riyasi and Ramban district of Jammu and Kashmir, etc. So basically, as we have discussed, the decision has been taken as per the enforcement of government of India's decision to put Indus Water Treaty in suspension or abeyance following the deadly Pahalgam terror attack. It seems that India has geared up and is ratcheting up its diplomatic offensive against Pakistan on all fronts. So this suspension of Indus Water Treaty is just one of the measures that India has taken. Apart from that, we know India also has suspended all kind of Pakistani vessels from entering and using the port of India. India also has suspended the right of Pakistani flag carriers aircraft to move through the India's airspace, and several such measures have been taken. Now, the gates of the sluice displays on the Baglihar Dam have been lowered to restrict the flow to Pakistan's Punjab, and many officials they say that this decision has been taken as a short-term punitive action against the Pakistan decision to give refuse to the terrorist element and all. Now, if you look at the India's retaliation, we have discussed that Indus Water Treaty has been put in abeyance by the government's order. And what actually has happened here is, first of all, early in few days back, the NHPC, that is the National Hydro Power Corporation, which is largely organization that manages these dams and generate hydroelectricity, it has carried out what you can call as the flushing of dam. In the flushing of dam, what basically happens is when the water is stored for certain duration of time before the dam, the sediments and the silt began to deposit on the dam bottom, and that is why, or the what you can call as the pondage bottom, or also we can call it as a reservoir bottom. So basically what is done, as more and more soil deposits, the capacity of dam decreases, and that is why there is a sudden flush of the water that is carried out by suddenly opening the sluice gates. So that was done, and due to this the water volume decreased here and the silt was flushed out. And now the reason why the dam gate has been lowered, because again NHPC want to build or increase the water volume in this particular reservoir or pond as such. For example, if we try to understand about both Baglihar and Salal Dam, they are referred as run of the river projects. Now, run of the river project does not have high storage capacity. Reservoir capacity is very, very low. Largely, such kind of project is used to generate the kinetic energy of water or the river is used to generate the hydroelectricity. So, the water is diverted from the higher areas to the lower areas, and that is why the dams are constructed. So, it enables India to regulate the timing of water releases downstream. That means if we try to understand it, India can control the flow of water. It can then cause sudden release of water, or can again cause sudden drying of the river if it decides to store the water. So regulating the flow of water is the most significant importance we can understand that we have in the run of the river projects. At the time of the construction, Pakistan, because of this capacity of India to regulate the flow of water, Pakistan had raised objection and also has sought the World Bank's interaction, which is one of the party in the Indus Waters Treaty. Now, as far as the Baglihar Dam is concerned, due to the objection raised by Pakistan, the dam's height was kept at 143 meter, that was less than 1.5 meter as per the proposed project, and because of this decrease in height, the storage capacity of dam is low, has become less, and it is 13.5% less than the original plan project. Similarly, Pakistan raised the objection over the Salal Dam construction also somewhere in the year 1970s, and Pakistan raised concern that the design of Salal Dam is not as per the Indus Waters Treaty as such. Negotiation began in 1970 and again it ended in 1978, and finally India also constructed the Salal Dam. So if we try to look at from on the map where these dams are situated, so we know that one of the western tributaries of Indus is Chenab, that originates somewhere from the Himachal Pradesh. The river basically is made up of two streams, Chandra and Bhaga. And Chandra and Bhaga river then join together in the Himachal Pradesh to form Chenab river. Then from Himachal Pradesh, it enters into Jammu and Kashmir. And then after passing and flowing through Jammu and Kashmir, it enters into the Punjab province of Pakistan. Now it is in the Jammu and Kashmir region. If you look closely here you have the Ramban district, and in the Ramban district, you have the Baglihar project or Baglihar Dam. And slightly if you move further to the west, here around this bend, you have the Riyasi district, and around this area, you have the Salal Dam. So both dams are located close to each other. First you have Baglihar Dam, and then you have the Salal Dam as such. As we have discussed, both of the dam, Pakistan had disputed the construction. However, the negotiation was carried out, and even the neutral commission has said that India is not violating Indus Waters Treaty by the construction of Baglihar and Salal Dam as such. So that is overall you can understand the map. Now the question is that what is the Indus Waters Treaty? What is the pact that India and Pakistan signed that India has now put in the state of suspension? So India, first of all, you talk about Indus Waters Treaty. It was signed in year 1960. From India's side, India was represented by the then Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru. From Pakistan's side, it was General Ayub Khan, and then World Bank was another mediator. Now, as per the Indus Waters Treaty, let us first try to understand about the map as such. Now, we know that talk about the Indus river system. You have the main river, that is Indus. It has 5 major tributaries: Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Byas, and Satluj. Now, the western river, that is the Jhelum, Chenab, and Indus, including the water right over these rivers, were guaranteed to Pakistan, where it was decided and agreed upon that 80% of the water from these 3 rivers will flow to Pakistan. India will not use and store this water. So basically only 20% of the water of Indus system is what India is using. On the other hand, you talk about the Byas, Ravi, and Satluj. Exclusive right was given to India, that India will have the right to use the water of Byas, Ravi, Satluj in the way that it seems and deems suitable and however it wanted such. Now, the problem here is that though it seems the division is three rivers, the most of water of Indus river system flows in the western river, that is Chenab, Jhelum, and Indus. Only a small percentage of water is flowing through Byas, Ravi, and Satluj. That means this is why many experts argue that the Indus Water Treaty is one of the most generous water sharing pact that we see on a global scale, because no other agreement or any kind of water sharing agreement between any countries in the world where such a huge amount of water has been given, has been given to the downward state, or what you can call as the lower riparian state, as the term is used. Now, India have been given limited non-conjunctive use of the western rivers, that means Chenab, Jhelum, and Indus. Over these rivers, India cannot store and divert the flow of water. India cannot restrict the flow of water to Pakistan. Rather, it can use these rivers for the purpose such as hydropower, for purpose such as navigation as well as fish culture. Now, if you look at all these three this allowed activities, none of these activities require the storage of water or diversion of water. That is why this was allowed, but it was not allowed to significantly alter or store the water flow as such. And that is why if you talk about the current situation, India's uses has been minimal on the western river system, and most of these are restricted to run of the river hydropower project that we have discussed is what we see in the both Baglihar and the case of Salal Dam. Now, India already has planned several other projects on the Chenab River. For example, you have Pakuldur project that is about 1000 megawatt hydroelectric generation project. You have Ratle that is 850 megawatt, Kiru that is 624 megawatt, Kwar that is 540 megawatt. However, even after the completion of these projects and including the current project, we can understand that the combined storage capacity of existing and upcoming projects on western rivers and tributaries remain modest. And it is because of this reason, India in a short interval time or short period of time we can say, or in the even in the near future, we can understand India has a limited ability to what you can say control the flow of water in the Indus River system. Even in the present context, if you look at the India's decision to close the sluice gate on the Baglihar Dam and Salal Dam, it cannot continue this for a long period of time because water will begin to overflow the dam. As we have discussed, the reservoir is very small in nature. So though the dams cannot hold flow of Chenab waters as we have discussed in Pakistan for a long time, they provide India the capability to regulate the timing of the release of water. Now, it is here it becomes interesting because as per the Indus Waters Treaty, India was expected to share any kind of changes in the water volume that it is undertaking in its area. For example, when India has to close the gates, it has to first inform the Pakistan. When India has to open the gate on the dams, it has to inform the Pakistan. Now, because Indus Water Treaty has been kept in suspension, India did not have to communicate or what you can say share any kind of steps that it is taking over the river system, and that is why India is in the position that if it want, it can create flood-like situation in Pakistan, or if it want, it can create a drought-like situation in the Pakistan. And as we know that 80%, even 90%, we can say of the Pakistan's agriculture is dependent upon the Indus water system, Indus river system. So any change in the flow, even while regulating it, can have a severe catastrophic consequences on the Pakistan's agriculture and overall Pakistan's economy, which anyway is in a worse situation. So Rabi harvesting, however, it does not require that much water. So for now, Pakistan's agriculture will not have a huge impact. But in few months from now, you'll have the sowing of the kharif crop, that is the paddy cultivation or the rice cultivation we can say. It is during this time many farmers or almost 80% of farmers of Pakistan require and is dependent upon the Indus water system. So after a few months, if India decides to do similar kind of exercise while regulating the flow of water, it can cause a lot of problems and adversity in Pakistan as such. Also, such kind of decision by India demonstrates that we will take coercive steps if Pakistan does not stop supporting cross-border terrorism as such, and not only that, if it does not take punitive action, coercive action against all the elements, against all the terror groups who have with impunity attacked India every now and then. And we are talking about terror groups such as Lashkar-e-Taiba, which largely is seen to be behind the Pahalgam terror attack as such. So that is all about this particular video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such helpful content. Thank you.